What's the funniest way you've outsmarted a teacher? My English teacher, Mrs. Trask, had this brutal policy where if you turned in a late essay, she'd read it aloud to the class while marking every mistake with a red pen in real time. She called it public editing, and it was absolutely humiliating. This woman was savage. Gray bob haircut that never moved, reading glasses on a chain that she'd dramatically lower when disappointed, and she genuinely enjoyed watching students squirm. She'd stand at the front of the room like a literary executioner, holding your paper like evidence of your failures. The process was methodical torture. She'd pause dramatically at each error, circle it with theatrical flair, and ask the class, "Can anyone fix this disaster?" Then she'd wait for the awkward silence before moving on to the next mistake. She kept a running tally of errors on the board, and by the end, your classmates knew exactly how many times you'd failed. Mrs. Trask had perfected this system over 15 years of teaching. She had a special red pen that she claimed was blessed by the grammar gods, and she'd hold it like a weapon. The worst part was how she'd make you stand next to her while she read, so everyone could see your face as she tore your work apart sentence by sentence. I was notorious for procrastination, and she'd been waiting to destroy me all semester. Every time I barely made a deadline, she'd give me this look that said, "Next time, you're mine." My friends called me the king of last-minute assignments. I'd written essays in study hall during lunch, even between classes. When I inevitably missed the deadline for our Shakespeare essay, she was practically giddy with anticipation. She'd been dropping hints all week about how she couldn't wait for Friday's special presentation. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced Friday morning with obvious glee, "Mr. Collins has finally given us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Please bring your masterpiece to the front for our editing session." The class went silent. Everyone knew what was about to happen. My friend Zach shot me a sympathetic look while Leah actually whispered, "I'm sorry," under her breath. Mrs. Trask was already uncapping her red pen like a surgeon preparing for operation. But here's what she didn't know. I'd written the essay entirely in iambic pentameter. Every single sentence followed Shakespeare's exact rhythm pattern, but it was disguised to look like a normal, analytical essay. I'd spent 3 days crafting it after missing the original deadline. As she started reading aloud, something felt off to her. The words flowed too smoothly, with an odd rhythm she couldn't place. "In Hamlet's world of darkness and despair, the prince must choose between action and prayer." She paused, confused. Why did that sound so musical? Kids started noticing the weird rhythm. Billy began tapping his pencil along to the beat. Julia was quietly mouthing along. Dante, who usually slept through English, was suddenly paying attention. By the third paragraph, someone whispered, "Wait, is he rapping?" The whisper spread through the classroom like wildfire. Students were exchanging glances, trying not to smile as they caught on. Mrs. Trask kept reading, getting more confused as the class began subtly nodding along to the beat. "The ghost appears with vengeance on his mind, while Hamlet seeks the truth that he must find." She looked up suspiciously, but couldn't figure out what was happening. The breakthrough moment came when she reached my analysis of Ophelia. Poor Ophelia's madness stems from love's cruel game, while Hamlet's feigned insanity brings him fame. Half the class was now grinning openly, and someone actually snapped their fingers. When she reached my conclusion, "Thus ends my tale of Hamlet's tragic fate. Perhaps next time I'll turn my work in straight," the entire class burst into spontaneous applause. Mrs. Trask stood there, paper trembling in her hands, finally understanding what had just happened. She stared at the essay, then at me, then back at the essay. Did you write this entire 5-page analysis as a poem?" "You said we needed to write about Shakespeare's literary techniques," I replied innocently. "I thought I'd demonstrate my understanding by using them." The class was barely containing their laughter. Mrs. Trask looked desperately for errors to mark, but every line was grammatically perfect and academically sound. "This is," she started, then stopped. "This is actually quite impressive," she had to give